Le Nissan Kick-Play 2025 a beaucoup de plus. Apple CarPlay intégré pour jouer vos tunes préférées, des fonctions avancées de sécurité, un rendement énergétique remarquable, puis même la petite odeur de char neuf qu'on aime tant. Tout ça en plus pour moins. Le Nissan Kick Play 2025 est le véhicule neuf le plus abordable au Québec. Achetez-le à partir de seulement 22 774 $, incluant un rabais à l'achat comptant de 2 600 $. Profitez de cette offre avantageuse chez votre concessionnaire dès maintenant. Jusqu'au 2 mars, des conditions s'appliquent. Détails chez Nissan.
All right, welcome back to the Elias Macco Show. City of Montreal and the Legault government have been in a war of words this week over the homelessness situation. Mayor of Montreal, Valerie Plante, accusing the provincial government of turning a blind eye, while Social Services Minister Lionel Carman accused the mayor of not being a team player. I'll tell you what, when I heard the mayor this week, the emotion in her voice and clearly how this situation with homelessness is affecting her, it was very clear. We're going to play you some audio here, and this is the mayor in French. We have the translated version, but to be honest with our listeners, we know most of you understand French, and especially you'll understand emotion. Have a listen to the mayor earlier this week.
Écoutez, moi, j'en remets à juste dire, moi, j'ai vu le premier ministre, quand il y avait des crises, être là. Moi, je l'ai vu avec ses bottes de pin. J'ai vu François Legault arriver, qui avait une route. Je prends l'exemple de la route qui a été emportée, là, puis avec des maisons à Baie-Saint-Paul. C'était un drame pour des gens. Moi, j'ai vu le premier ministre arriver là avec son grand cœur puis dire « Hey, on va trouver une solution ». Moi, j'ai vu ça avec les feux de forêt. Je l'ai vu le premier. J'ai vu François Legault. Moi, je veux François Legault ici. Je veux que François Legault dise à ses ministres « Come on, gang, on n'y arrivera pas ». Et encore une fois, que ce soit le premier ministre qui en ce moment est François Legault, ou que ce soit le chef du Parti québécois qui habite Montréal, ou que ce soit les deux porte-parole de QS qui sont à Montréal, ou encore une grande partie de la députation du Parti libéral qui est sur l'île de Montréal. Il y a une crise humanitaire ici. Il faut s'en occuper.
So the mayor taking aim at the premier, saying that she's seen the premier in other situations, other crises, disaster areas. He shows up. Hasn't shown up in this situation, which she likens to a disaster, what's been happening in the city with homelessness. Let's find out a little bit more. Let's get the view from Despina Surias, who's a special advisor on the executive committee, and of course, a borough, Côte-des-Neiges NDG borough city councillor. Despina, welcome back to the program.
Great to be back, and Happy New Year to you. I don't think we've spoke since the New Year.
Yeah, and we're wrapping up the first month here. So listen, let me ask you about what you heard from the mayor, and she went on there. We could only play a snippet now. I heard the emotion. I want to know your reaction to that, and if you think it's warranted.
It's definitely warranted. It's an issue that we've been dealing with for since COVID, and it's been ongoing. It's gotten worse. The estimates, the last count that they did across Quebec was 10,000 people were living in the streets, half of which are in Montreal. It is devastating to see people in these conditions. Obviously, all this needs to be addressed by all levels of government, have to work together. We've been saying it from day one. This is a health crisis. And it also, the provincial government has a huge role to play by providing obviously housing resources, as well as, the right essential services linked to that, meaning health and social services. Because the people on the street, they're there for various reasons, but we definitely need a proactive approach, and it's not getting better. So that's why we're calling it a humanitarian crisis. It's people living on the street, minus 25 degrees outside. It's a very difficult thing to live. And we just need everybody around the table. So I definitely, I would say, I feel what the mayoress is saying completely.
So what would you say to, and if I've heard it from provincial politicians, from the CAQ government, they point out that no government has ever spent more money on the homelessness issue. Now, maybe it's not enough, but no government has spent more money on the issue, right? And so, what do you say to that? Because when I hear that argument, I say, well, geez, is it the contention that all we need to do is throw more money? And at a certain point, if we get to the point where we've thrown enough money, the solution will be had. So I kind of get that. Well, what do you say to that point?
I think the money has to be thrown in the right place, right? Yes, you're putting money into homelessness. It is a big issue that we need to tackle, but we also have to tackle the other issues that are causing it. So the causes have to be addressed. One of them being the housing crisis, and it's a major one, right? As much as, they've done through PL, the PL 31 allowing people to develop and build faster. That's great. There's been investments in housing projects, but it has to be done quickly. So I think that yes, they've invested in itinérance. They put money specifically into that, but it's an interdisciplinary approach that has to be taken to this, and all actors, including the provincial government, us as cities, the federal government has put money on the table. We need the community organizations across the board, but we need to act quickly because there's a lot of bureaucracy that comes with this too. So one of the main things that the mayor was saying is that yes, there's 25 mil on the table that was put out there, but to get the money on the ground through the organizations have to go through these heavy processes to get it. The crisis is today. It's not tomorrow. It's now that we have to put the money down to deal with it through different angles, because any human issue is complex. So of course you need to have different approaches, and all the actors are on the table to address it. So
getting to the housing component here, right? Because many people would argue what we're seeing with homelessness, well, the underlying issue is housing, okay? There have been some movements, and I have to point this out to Spina. The last time we had the mayor of Montreal on this program, the last time she showed up, it was a discussion on housing. I pointed out that, under her administration, we weren't building as much as we should have, and I pointed out some weaknesses. She hasn't come back since, okay? And now I'm reading this week that maybe there's been a change of tune when it comes to approving projects that perhaps citizens have been against, but the city says, no matter, we're still going to do it anyways. So I just wonder, has there been a pivot or a change to policy to make housing happen quicker?
Well, this is not just the city; it's the provincial government too, who allowed us through PL 31. Basically, there's different processes you have to go through to get acceptability for the project, and there's a referendum process, and ones that are derogatory. So this is a little bit more detailed and complex, but they allowed municipalities to overstep some of those things to get housing done quicker. So yes, we took advantage of that. We're the first city in Quebec to really kind of create a framework for it. We do want our RMN to be, the mixed housing bylaw that we have to be accepted. We want the urban planning zoning as it is to be also kind of integrated. And there are going to be discussions with the public, but of course it allows to fast track some projects by months, which is essential. And there have been some, I know there was one recently in Villeray, for example, that was we weren't fully happy because it didn't integrate certain components that the citizens wanted, but overall it addressed a lot of the housing needs that were met. So it's a delicate rope. We can't, you don't want to. This is a great tool to have at this time when we need more housing.
Yes,
and we're using it, but we're also putting we're putting lands that we own as a city. We're making them available for housing projects, that are going to be led by nonprofits. So we're doing a lot of things to make that easier.
Can I just ask you, just the way I see it here is that it used to be everything has to be perfect, and that saying, "Perfect is the enemy of the good." Is it fair to say that from now on the city will be happier with the good as long as it gets stuff done quicker?
I think we're still committed to providing housing for all levels of affordability. So we're still committed to our RMM. We want it to be done quicker, so we're providing the resources to do that. We're even we have a new timeline for permits to be emitted. So we're really working hard to make it to alleviate all the things that are our end, could be seen as red tapes. But for us, we're still committed to ensuring that we're creating quality, living environments. So we still want high quality, but of course we want it to be done in a better time. And that I think makes sense for everybody around the table.
Last thought on the note from the Social Services Minister, Lionel Carmel, that said, hey, you're not, to the mayor, you're not being a team player here. That the type of going out in public and having that language and taking aim at the premier, that's not a good thing. And maybe it should be done a different way. What do you say to that on being a team player to get stuff done?
Well, if we have to move quicker, You know, I mean, if you don't want us to go out, and I mean, if you're saying you're going to do one thing and it's not moving, and we're seeing people who are freezing in the streets, I mean, it's something that needs to be done in a way that is efficient. She has great respect for Mr. Carman. We all do, as he's a great person. We know that he's working. There has been things that have advanced, but things have to be done. We have to realize if especially if it's not dealt with right now, it's going to continue being the crisis that it is today, a humanitarian one. So
Despina, I
agree with her.
I have to leave it there. I want to thank you for coming on.
Great talking to you. Take care.
Despina Surias from the Côte-des-Neiges NDG Borough, Special Advisor on the Executive Committee.